Hey, guess what? It's week 3 of the NFL Survivor Pool Sprapp. We're picking games, we're having fun. I made some formula adjustments, I brought in some stats. Let's go over week 3 picks, get into the nitty gritty. If you want to copy this file, it's only $5. And if you whine or complain to me, I'll probably just send it to you for free because that's how I am. But whatever. Anyway, let's see who's going to win. So I went in and I brought in the current stats, and we're starting to get 2 games worth for most of the teams already. Which is starting to look fun and interesting. So what's happening? Well, let's start with, let's go timing wise. I'll show you some fun ways to look at this file. Let's look at just the Thursday night game, but also in the context of everything else first. So the Thursday night game here is showing up as the Rams and the Niners. It's a huge favorite for the Rams. Why is that? Well, because the Rams are 1-1. The Niners are awful. The Liners. Yeah, they probably need a Liners. 25-12 predictive score in this game seems obvious, which always scares me a little bit because anytime there's a huge favorite, just like last week. What happened last week? Let's go back in time for a second. My predictive capability, it's regressive in how the formulas change from week to week. So if you look, the only game that I miss, if you go back and reformulate everything based on the current season stats, is the big game of the Skins and the Rams. And the Rams were involved in that game that caused all that mayhem, and the only one that you really miss, I can't come up with a formula that works uniformly and makes the Skins beat the Rams in LA like that. So anyway, it's kind of funny. So let's look more at week 3 here. If you got to go with anyone, you got to go with the Rams. Although I hate that because of what happens. Weird stuff's probably going to happen. So keep an eye on that. That's all I'll talk about for Thursday night. But let's look at other games and kind of go down the list, because if you're running a survivor pool or you're really thinking about good bets, even though the Rams look like a huge favorite there, as I said, they're the only ones that did something super weird. And they have 2 teams now. Los Angeles is a crazy town. I don't know what to tell you. So when you start looking at the numbers, Arizona and Dallas. And I would have thought Dallas would be favored over Arizona because Arizona barely squeaks by Indianapolis. But Arizona's home. I don't know. I'm surprised that Arizona gets +6 here. They're both 1-1 point differential game. I don't know. Maybe Dallas a little overrated. Maybe there's some. Anyway, that's interesting there. I don't know if I agree with it, but that's what's showing up. Here's another weird one: Detroit over Atlanta. Detroit, not weird. Detroit looks super strong, and they're at home. I don't know if that really helps them or not. I think they're both dome teams, right? It's interesting what the scoring's coming up with, but Detroit is favored over Atlanta here. So if you had to pick one, I kind of agree with that. I think they're a pretty strong team. Now, Baltimore favored over Jacksonville. I do believe that, even though that's in Jacksonville. I think that's reasonable. Here's where I'm surprised. So Denver, this game's in Buffalo. Denver heavily favored over Buffalo. I'm surprised at how heavily favored they are. Carolina over New Orleans, I totally like that. That game seems like a lock of the week. I feel like that should be more than 45%. This game's in Carolina. I really think that's a lock. Steelers over the Bears is also a lock, probably, right? Even though that's in Chicago. Oh yeah, and Green Bay over Cincinnati is a lock, right? Certainly seems like that game's in Green Bay. Cleveland is favored over Indianapolis. I agree with that. Yeah, that's how heavy it is. Denver over Buffalo. I'll zoom in a little more for you. It's Detroit, 11% over Atlanta. I look at this file. Okay, Patriots and Texans. When's that game? It's 1 p.m. on Sunday. So Patriots, yeah, in New England, that's a lock for the Patriots, seems like. Kansas City and the Chargers. The Chargers record, how have the Chargers done? Oh, the Chargers, are they 0-2 already? I think they are. So here's a way we could look at that. I think I have a team slicer over here. So if you grab this team slicer and you look at the Chargers, L. There. You're going to get just Chargers games. Then you can unfilter this week slicer and see all their games and see how they've done. So have they? I've actually. Have I really mispredicted all these games? No, I didn't. The Chargers lost 24-21. The Chargers lost 19-17, barely to Miami. So are they really going to go 0-3? Or are they going to, what's going to happen, right? Chargers versus... the Chiefs are really strong now. You think the Chargers are going 0-3, don't you? Even though that game's in LA. So yeah, and the Skins are the Raiders. So the Raiders, yeah, the Raiders are definitely coming into Washington and beating the Skins. Even though that NFC East, I think, is going to be a pretty terrible division. Who's Philly playing? Philly and the Giants. Okay, Philly and the Giants. Philly's 72% favorite. I guess, but the Giants are going to have to win a game at some point, and Philly's not super strong. That is really surprising that is at 72%. I mean, think about that. Philly's 1-1. I know the Giants are 0-2, but they lost to Detroit. I think it's a good team, and they got beat by Dallas. Yes, sure. You really do think Philly's going to win this game? This game is in Philadelphia. I guess the Giants are going. This is one of those years where the Giants go 0-6 to start out and then win the next 10. I don't think so, but anyway, Seattle and Tennessee is the other game we haven't gone over. Tennessee heavily favored over Seattle. What? What? Because why? Because Tennessee's one game. They did play in week 1, right? So yeah, what did I say about how to look at this? Go and look at Tennessee. And then look at all the weeks. Tennessee. How bad did they lose to Oakland? 26-16. Oakland's good. Oakland's a playoff team right now. If you could call whether or not Oakland's gonna make playoffs, the answer is yes this year. So they lost and then they beat Jacksonville. So why on earth are they heavily favored? So heavily favored over the Seahawks. 47%. Why? Because they had an 8-point victory. The Seahawks are also 1-1, right? Because they lost to Green Bay. I don't like this 47. Even though that game's in Tennessee, offensive rating, defensive rating. So Seattle has a really poor offensive and defensive rating. Is that what you're telling me? Seattle. Because they didn't score a lot against San Francisco, I guess. Yeah, all right. So Seattle's not a great team right now? I don't know. Well, those are potential games where I'm a little concerned. I think that Seattle can beat Tennessee, obviously. I think that Minnesota can beat Tampa Bay. I didn't even talk about that one. I think, so this scares me. I do think the Rams are going to beat the Niners probably here. Although it's funny business tonight. There's going to be some funny business here. This is not going to be 25-12. Something's weird's going to happen. Colin Kaepernick's going to get signed right before the game. Jump out there. Something weird's going to happen. I just don't see a West Coast normal like the Rams should beat them. I don't think it's going to happen that way. It's a weird Thursday night. Now, as for everything else, all right, locks of the week. You want to know my locks. So I think that I really do like Baltimore over Jacksonville. I really do like Carolina over New Orleans. That's 2. Baltimore, Carolina. I really like Green Bay over Cincinnati. I really like that. That's my lock of the week, actually. In Green Bay. That's a pretty good pick for them. I mean, what do you want to line them up when they play Cleveland or somebody else? But Cincinnati looks so bad, and this game's in. I mean, how does Cincinnati win that game? I don't think that the Cheeseheads accept a BS result. I think that they just They take Aaron Rodgers and they string him up if that happens this weekend. All right. Indianapolis, Cleveland, anything can happen here. Indianapolis going to have to win a game. Who's like, oh my God, we can't beat Cleveland. That could happen. I don't like touching this Dallas-Arizona game. I guess Denver's going to win over Buffalo, but I don't like the 64%. Like, I'd much rather have Green Bay than Denver if I had to choose between those two teams there. I do think Detroit is probably going to beat Atlanta. But I don't know. It's still more of a pick 'em. The Pats have got to beat Houston. So that's another lock in New England. That's happening. The Colts and Browns, Jags, Ravens. Chiefs are probably going to beat the Chargers. Oh, Miami and the Jets. We didn't talk about the Miami and the Jets. I see why Miami's favored. That makes sense. That game's in. Probably take Miami there. It's better than a pick 'em there. I think that Miami's probably good. This Minnesota Tampa Bay is weird, but maybe the file knows something we don't. And the Giants and the Eagles. Yeah, I do think that the Eagles are probably going to win that game. Oakland's going to beat the Skins. Hey, I won't talk about the Skins. Don't trust anything I say when it involves the Skins. And then Steelers are going to beat the Bears. That's a lock. That's definitely happening too. Niners and Rams. Rams probably. Yeah, I'm scared about this Tennessee-Seattle game. I'm scared about Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Those are the two that worry me. So I said some locks in there, but you've heard it. It's week 3. If you want to copy this file, go to kenbraverman.com. And may all your picks be winning. Yes.